Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Everyday Differences, the show that's meant to show you that differences aren't bad and that you can live your life a lot better by embracing your differences. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 5 of Everyday Differences. My guest this week is Mr. Russ Mitchell. Russ, it is an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Well, Justin, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Trust me, I can't think of a better person to be interviewing. Now, a lot of people who are watching this may not know exactly who you are, so could you tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do for the city?
I'm anchor and managing editor here at WKYC Channel 3. I anchor the 6 and 11 o'clock broadcasts. I've been here for 2 years. Before this, I was at CBS in New York. Before that, I was in local markets in St. Louis, Kansas City, and Dallas. But it's been a great time here in Cleveland. I have enjoyed my time here. Look forward to a long career here.
Now, Russ, I do have to ask, what got you into journalism in the first place?
It's interesting. I think I've always liked to write. And a typical story, I was in the high school newspaper and got a taste of it right there. And I remember my high school journalism advisor told me about a journalism workshop at the University of Missouri. I'm from St. Louis originally. There was going to be 2 weeks over the summer. And I applied and I got in and came back from this thing with just a strong desire to be a journalist. I was in high school. But that kind of propelled me into wanting to go into this business. I got a job that long after getting back from this workshop, my senior year of high school, as a night switchboard operator at a television station. And I met so many people answering the phone at this television station who taught me a lot. Getting that job as the night switchboard operator and seeing how things worked at the TV station kind of told me this is what I wanted to do.
What made Cleveland a destination that you really wanted to be in?
I had been at CBS for 20 years and had traveled a lot all over the world, saw a lot of cool things. It was a fantastic experience. Kind of woke up one day and said, I'm tired of traveling. I've always wanted to go back to local TV. Because I think you can make a difference in local TV that you really can't make at a national level, at least not in an immediate sort of way. Local TV has the power to change communities, and a local anchor in a nice town has the influence to become involved in things and to try at least to change a course of direction or at least be a part of the discussion. And that's something I always missed of the network. It was a fascinating, a great experience, one I would never change for the world. And there are things I miss about that. But when I looked around at local TV stations, and I was going to stay at CBS if I didn't find anything I wanted, I discovered this place and Cleveland, or this place discovered me and then I discovered Cleveland. And it just seemed like a perfect match.
I do have to ask, you say you were at CBS for 20 years. I imagine you've covered many, many stories, but I'm wondering, is there one or two that stick out as the most memorable?
I guess the one that has stuck with me all these years is 9/11. I mean, I was living in New York, I was covering 9/11. It was a life-changing experience. I tell people all the time, there's not a day that goes by that I don't have some sort of thought about 9/11. I'm not involved in a discussion about 9/11, or I don't overhear a conversation when I'm talking to my friends who were, in New York about 9/11. In this business, you see a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff, and the trick is everybody handles it differently. The way I've handled it is I compartmentalize this stuff. The bad stuff I put over here, and I try not to let it affect me. Obviously, I'm a human being, so it's going to affect me in some respect. 9/11, it was impossible to do that.
I can't even imagine.
Well, exactly. I mean, not only was this obviously an attack on our country, and I can remember sitting there that day at the anchor desk in my head privately, I would never say this on TV, is this it? And it was happening in the place where I lived.
Yes, that just seems like something unfathomable.
Yeah, the 1-2 punch of that was just amazing.
Before we get into the silly question round, the last normal and serious question that I have is, it seems like you really got into this business by having a spark lit underneath you and then really following a passion and following a dream. There's a lot of that today in my generation with people finding what they want to do and going for it, but there's a lot of people that don't have the courage to just jump in. Is there something that you would say to a teenager or somebody my age that doesn't know how to just jump in and follow their passion?
It's hard to know this when you're a teenager. It's hard to know this in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, for that, and 50s and 60s for that matter. But there's one thing somebody told me that has stuck with me throughout the course of my life is, it is not a sprint, it's a marathon. If it's something you want, it's probably not going to come to you right away, and we all get impatient. The trick is to stay with it. If it's something that is really burning inside of you, don't let that be extinguished by some sort of setback. Because with hard work and luck, good things happen. So the advice I would have to someone your age, or someone my age for that, quite frankly, and I have to tell myself this sometimes, is you really just have to stick with it.
And now, Russ, it is everyone's favorite part of Everyday Differences.
Okay.
This, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. This is the question microphone.
Okay.
This signals the beginning of question round, where we just throw really all sense out the window.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you some silly questions, and you're going to give me the greatest possible answer
Okay.
you can.
All right, let's go.
Now, if you could be your own superhero, what would your superpower be, and what would your superhero name be?
Ooh, I think I'd like to fly. I think I would be Flyman, because I'm flying. Because if you're flying, you could be anywhere you want to be at any particular moment. Some people argue with me. They say it's better to be invisible, but I think flying is the trick. But Flyman, I think, because it's such an original title for a guy who can fly.
Incredibly creative.
I do what I can. So I think that would be it.
Very nice. Flyman, Russ Mitchell. I think we've just unmasked you, so. We're just.
It happens. All right.
It does. We're just going to roll with it. Now, Russ, I need you to complete this sentence.
Okay.
The most important thing in life is?
Happiness, loyalty, being true to oneself.
Very nice. Happiness, loyalty, and being true to oneself. Very, very important. If you had to give 3 words to describe yourself, what would they be?
Wow, these are great questions, Justin.
Thank you.
I'm going to use these sometimes when I'm talking to other people. I think they would be, here's what I would like for them to be, I think they'd be. I think loyal, honest, accessible.
One important thing that you cannot live without is? Finish that sentence as well.
My kids.
Perfect. Hear that, Dad? All right, and final question for question round is, where will you be on March 9th, 2014?
I'm going to be at the Tolerance Fair.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen?
Wow.
March 9th, 2014, Cleveland Convention Center. Come to the Tolerance Fair. Now, Russ, every week on Everyday Differences, I post something that's called the Weekly Conversation, and that's a question that people get involved with and answer in the comments down below.
Okay.
Now, I want to get your take on it, and this week, the Weekly Conversation is, what does kindness mean to you?
Kindness is remembering that we're all human beings, that we all have feelings, that nobody got to where they are in life, no matter who you are, without any help from someone else. Kindness to me is the smile on the street from someone just saying hello when you're walking down the street. Kindness is holding the door for someone who needs help, getting in somewhere. It's just showing people that you care about them.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest on Everyday Differences this week for episode 5 has been Russ Mitchell. Russ, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure seeing you again, and best of luck on March 9th.
Thank you very much.
To help as many people as I possibly can before I die.
Hey again. I hope you enjoyed episode 5 of Everyday Differences. This week my guest was Russ Mitchell, lead anchor at WKYC. I had a fantastic time shooting, and it was awesome to be able to be at the WKYC station to do it. Now I really want to get your feedback on this week's Weekly Conversation, and it's, what does kindness mean to you? So put your answers and response in the comments down below for a chance to be in next week's video. Well, I hope you liked that episode of Everyday Differences. I know I had a great time shooting it. Of course, the same as every week, don't forget to follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Justin Bachman Speaker, Twitter and Instagram @JustinBachman3. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to get into the weekly conversation. Never forget to embrace your differences. I'll see you next week.